Hi, everyone. It is Todd Gross. Thank you for your patience, and I am so glad that you are here. Welcome to Synthesis Video Translate. Again, welcome. I am Todd Gross, and I will be talking to you today. I'm your host, of course. And I would like to just thank you for your patience and ask you just a couple of questions before we get started. This is just kind of a warm up right now. We have a very concise presentation today, though, so don't worry. This isn't going to be long and drawn out. We're going to get right down to it, and we're going to do something extremely exciting. We're going to be talking about translating and cloning all at the same time, and that is just going to show you an amazing result. So what I'm going to do here in the intro is, first of all, I just want to get a couple of things out of the way. I need to know, first of all, obviously, in the question answer box, that's one of the two boxes there. You could either read the chat. The chat is where we will post links and things like that. The question answer box is where we'll answer your questions. Can you just tell me, first of all, if you could hear me clearly? All right. Thank you, Russ and Lynn and Stephen and Ron and Bradley and Larry and Gene and David and Jason and Gene and Jeffrey and Ron. You know, there's too many to read, though. See so many familiar names there, by the way. The second question is, just briefly tell me where you're from and what the weather's like. Being a weatherman and knowing that that's kind of interesting. We have Texas and Miami, where it's hot, Orlando. We have Joel. We have Canada. We have raining. Where is it raining, Alexis? It's cold in Pennsylvania, sunny in Australia, summer there. Edmonton, Alberta, very nice for February. Yeah, go to Banff and Jasper. Boulder, Colorado, it's snowing. Houston, 64. Hello from New Jersey. Toronto, dark in the Bahamas. Yeah, it's dark out. Florida, cold and raining now. Ohio, cold and clear. Acton, California, raining. We have Rusty and Ken and Howard and Tara and Jason and Hank and Miriam, and Budapest is windy right now. Bruce, and we have David, Ruster Holtz, we have Don, we have Germany. We have too many places to name. Thank you for the weather, gang. I really appreciate that. Next question. How many of you are familiar with the Synthesys line of products, such as Human Synthesis Studio, Talking Faces, Face Swap, or perhaps Synthesis AI Studio? Any of those? Give me a 1 in the chat box if you're familiar with that. Give me a 2 if you are not familiar with that any of that line of products. 1 and 2. I just want to know how to kind of tailor this presentation. It's 50-50, gang. All right, so half of you know about the Synthesys line of products. So I have to go over it a little bit because half of you don't. So basically, we were the leaders in AI from way back. All right, we're talking 4 years ago. We were already coming out with, the avatars that look like humans by recording real human beings and doing voice cloning of real human beings that has since to this day now become so famous, in terms of all the ramifications of that, people impersonating other people. It's become a big, cultural crisis. We did this 4 years ago, and we've been, coming out with products ever since in that sort of realm of AI. And then all of a sudden, ChatGPT came out, and it was another kind of AI. And that made AI a little more famous, but we were always there. We've been there for 4 years, all right? But our latest is something that is really going to blow your minds because of all the things that we've put out in the artificial intelligence world. The one that has the most, I would say, usefulness to you in your everyday life and in terms of making money easily, it's going to be this one. So with that in mind, let me introduce you to something that's called in-sync translation. Here, you'll see what I mean. I'm going to play a video and this will just kind of clarify where we're headed today.
Ever thought about breaking language barriers in your video content? Imagine the possibilities if your videos could speak to a global audience in 30 different languages. Welcome to the future of content creation, where technology meets creativity in a game-changing way. Picture a tool that's incredibly user-friendly, even if you're not tech-savvy. Introducing in-sync dubbing, a powerful solution that combines video voice cloning and translation. Not just any translation, mind you. This is about maintaining the original voice's tone and inflection, ensuring the authenticity of your content is preserved. But what if your audience prefers to read rather than listen? No problem. In-sync dubbing comes with optional subtitles for maximum accessibility. Now, your content can reach individuals who are hearing impaired or those who simply prefer to watch videos on mute. And the best part? There's no wait. The processing is instant. For entrepreneurs, a commercial license is available, allowing you to harness the power of in-sync dubbing for your business needs. So, what have we discovered today? A tool that breaks language barriers, giving your videos the power to speak to the world. A solution that maintains the tone and inflection of the original voice. A feature that allows optional subtitles for maximum accessibility. And a user-friendly interface that even the less tech-savvy among us can navigate with ease. The world is becoming a smaller place, and in-sync dubbing is leading the way in this digital revolution. Make your mark on the global stage. After all, why limit your reach when you can speak to the world?
Yeah, what did you think of that whole concept of doing dubbing, but keeping the person's voice the same and keeping, of course, when you reach the new language, the lips synced up? What do you think of that concept in general before we move any further?
Ever thought about breaking language barriers in your...
All right, you guys are great. I can't say everything that you're saying. Great idea, amazing, wow, exciting, very cool, great, cutting edge, excellent. Thank you. All right, so now this is what I want to do. This is going to relate to later in our webinar training today, because we're going to talk later on about how to make money with this, okay? And we're going to show you some great examples in just a moment, by the way. I'd say within 3 minutes from now, some really wild examples. But now, before we do that, I'd like your input. For just a moment, I would like to know, by putting a 1 in the chat box, if any of these people, okay, that are listed here, local business owner, international marketer, affiliate marketer, content creator, are you one of these, or do you know anybody that is one of these? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're one of the things that we've listed here: social media influencer, product demonstrator, educator, voice actor, storyteller, newscaster, nonprofit organization, language learner. If you are one of these, or you know somebody who's one of these, put a 1 in the chat box, please. I want to count up the ones. 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Some one of you put a lot of 1s because you know a lot of those people. All right, so we've got half of you, over half of you have put a 1 in the chat box. Thank you very much for your attention. All right, so the point is, every single one of those people that we have listed here can utilize software like this that translates and does it the right way. All right, that's the point that I'm trying to get across. All right, that's our introduction for today. Now let's talk about the agenda. And again, I said it's going to be compact, and I'm going to keep that promise. Here's our agenda for today. First, we're going to talk about what dubbing is and how we have revolutionized dubbing technology, as you've already kind of glimpsed. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this brand new software that we have called Synthesys Video Translate with our in-sync dubbing. And what we're going to do is talk about what it is capable of achieving, because it's not just that one thing. We have about 10 or 15 things that it can do, 5 major things that I'm going to show you examples of in just a second. We're going to then, after the examples, give you a demonstration inside the software because it is so darn easy to use. I'll be honest, I don't even know if Oliver added the video instructions to it yet, and I don't care because it's so easy to use. All you'll need to do is watch the webinar replay, or not even that, and you'll know how to use it totally from top to bottom, left to right. There's nothing to it. And yet it does many, many different things. How you could use this technology to reach new audiences and ultimately make more money. We'll then be covering that. And the way that we'll be covering that is by going back to what we just discussed a moment ago. You'll recall we discussed all the people that could use this. Then we'll talk about how you could get your hands on this today. That's right here on this webinar. And then we're going to be doing some special webinar bonuses and a cash giveaway. The cash giveaway is basically a reimbursement to anybody that purchases today. We're going to reimburse a lucky winner based on something that I may have said early on in the webinar. We'll quiz you later on the webinar, and one of you will be a lucky winner, and we'll give you some cash reimbursement towards your purchase. So basically, that's the agenda for today. But now what we're getting to is the really, really fun part. Let's talk first about what is dubbing. So dubbing is a post-production process, as you know, where the original language of a recording is swapped with audio in a different language, and then it's mixed with the audio of the media to make it sound as natural as possible. You're all familiar with dubbing. Can any of you give me an example of something you've seen on TV that is dubbed? Bruce says Bruce Lee. William says martial arts movies. David says movies. John says foreign films. Okay, so it's funny you mentioned Bruce Lee because that's the next thing that I have for you to see. Bad dubbing. You ready? An old Bruce Lee film.
I'm sorry. I'm just an ordinary taxpayer. I don't know anything about security. Everyone's responsible for his country's safety. Surely you do realize that. No, I don't realize that. I want nothing to do with it.
I mean, it's really kind of funny. And that's what dubbing has been until now. Now, I was actually watching a series on TV just a week ago, less than a week ago, and it was one of these dating shows, believe it or not, and it was from Sweden. And I was watching, and they were trying to do a similar kind of dubbing, and even though it wasn't that bad, it still was distracting. So most folks who are purists say, you know, I'm not going to go with the dubbing. I'm going to try to read the subtitles. I don't know about you, but when you put subtitles on and that's all you have to read them. And, you know, sometimes you are heading into another room, or you want to look at your partner who may be sitting next to you, or your pet. Something is going to get your eyes off that screen, right? And then that isn't a solution really either, even though that may be the classier solution to this kind of dubbing. Well, we have the solution for it. And the solution, of course, we have to shut Bruce Lee up first, and then I'll tell you the solution. It's Synthesys Video Translate with in-sync dubbing, where the lips are synced properly and the voice is the original person, as we've been discussing. Now, it's combining voice cloning and translation at the same time. So it actually takes the original voice and clones it. You heard I'm not discussing politics at all here tonight, okay? It is nothing here political, but you do know probably that last week or a couple of weeks ago, before one of the primaries here in the United States, President Biden's voice was cloned, all right? And then that voice was sent out by robocall, and it was not actually him making the plea to people not to vote. So it was used in an unscrupulous way, which is why I said, you know, this is a problem in that socially it's raising all kinds of issues. But for you, the important thing is to know that this is possible. This is what we've been working on for 4 years over at Synthesys. And now we have it done so that you can have videos translated in this way, which is, you know, really, really quite unique. Now, there's 5 basic things that you can do with our amazing, easy-to-use software. The most basic of all is to solve that Bruce Lee problem just flat out. And that means just taking an original person on a video and changing his voice. Are you ready to see it? That is both the English followed by the other language. Are you ready to see this with lips synced up and the same exact voice? Tell me if you are ready, because I'm ready to show you. Okay, here we go.
Instead of issuing vague threats to Taylor Swift, instead of lecturing her about how many people she'll alienate, instead of promising retribution, instead of warning her about the impacts to her career and her finances, have you considered, and I hope you're sitting down for this, invece di lanciare vaghe minacce a Taylor Swift, invece di farle la predica su quante persone si alienerà, invece di promettere punizioni, invece di metterla in guardia sulle conseguenze per la sua carriera e le sue finanze, avete considerato, e spero che siate seduti per questo, di avere politiche migliori?
What do you think of that? You know, it's funny. Pete says he looks like Ferris. I told Ferris that yesterday. Yeah, there's some lag because of the GoToWebinar. Yes. Excellent. Looks pretty good. Amazing. Pretty awesome. All right. That's one way that you can use the software. That is, you can take the subject, you could change their voice. And when you change their voice, you're keeping their voice, you're cloning their voice, and then you're changing the language. And when you change the language, then you have to sync it up with their lips. And that's what we're doing there. Okay. Now, that's just one of the things that you can do. Let me cue up the next thing that you could do. Now, remember, we talked about subtitles moments ago. Now, the thing with subtitles is that they do have their purpose. They do have their place. What if you can take the original person who's speaking, change his language, keep his voice by cloning the voice, but change the language from English to another foreign language? But in addition to lip syncing and doing that, you also add subtitles. By adding subtitles, now you're reaching another audience, those who are perhaps hard of hearing. So you could do that too. Let's see how that looks. And of course, this is Elon Musk.
There should be more focus on the product, the service itself, less time on board meetings, less time on financials. The financials come as a result, like you say, like, what's the point of a company at all? L'attenzione dovrebbe essere rivolta maggiormente al prodotto o al servizio stesso. Facciano meno tempo per le riunioni del consiglio di amministrazione, meno tempo sui dati finanziari. Le finanze vengono di conseguenza. A cosa serve un'azienda? Perché mai avere un'azienda?
All right, so that's an example with subtitles. Now there's a third example I want to show you as well. And that, this time, is where you take the original speaker, you don't clone his voice, but you add an AI voice, an excellent AI voice, to that speaker. So if you don't like the original voice, you change it, but then you change it into any language you want, but you lip sync it. Okay, I'm going to show you that example now. And when we're inside the software later, this will all make sense because it's all really easy to do. So here's the next example coming up.
The way it works is I encourage my students to turn their palms up, take a deep breath in, and then exhale the T sound. Doing so creates a sense of relaxation that often helps a lot of students focus on their message.
Animo a mis alumnos a que pongan las palmas de las manos hacia arriba, inspiren profundamente y exhalen el sonido de la T. Al hacerlo se crea una sensación de relajación que a menudo ayuda a muchos alumnos a concentrarse en su mensaje.
All right, was everyone able to see that? Let me know in the question answer box. Yes, everyone was able to see it. It's a little choppy for some. My apologies. It's the propagation with GoToWebinar. Very good voice. Yeah, the voice was excellent. And when we're on the inside, I'm going to show you that. Yes, it's synced. All right, great. Now, there's another way that you could use this software. Remember, I said there's many ways, but there's 5 basic. The next one is if you don't have a human being at all, you could still translate it. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me get back to here.
The way it works.
So for voice-over videos, the kind that you see every day, where there's an actual voice-over artist like myself, they voice it over, right? But you don't see them. Sort of like this webinar. You're not seeing me right now. I don't have my webcam on. You could translate to a new language and clone their voice. All right, there's no lip syncing needed, obviously, because you're not seeing anybody. But it's very, very effective. Let's see what that looks like next.
So the first thing you do is find the white centerpiece and hold that on top. Next, what you do is solve the white cross, but we also need the colors on the side to line up. So here's how you faire est donc de trouver la pièce centrale blanche et de la placer sur le dessus. Ensuite, il faut résoudre la croix blanche, mais il faut aussi que les couleurs sur les côtés s'alignent à ça. Voici donc comment procéder. Trouver une pièce blanche sur la couche inférieure, comme celle-ci, mais pas celle-ci. So the first thing you do is...
Okay, before I show you the next slide, maybe you know where I'm going with this. Obviously, that was really cool. We could just change the actual voiceover to a new language and keep the original voice. So the voiceover artist, even though they don't speak the other language, can speak the other language, right? But what would be even better? What could we add to this to make it more personal, to make it more interactive? What do you think would be a really good thing to add? John says, can I add avatars? Yeah, we got a few of you that said avatars. Or Jay Overton says with a big exclamation point, Humatar, because that is our name for real human-based avatars. So for voice-over only videos, imagine if you could add a Humatar, or in other words, a real human-based avatar to the video to give a face to that voice, but change the language at will. What if we could do just that? Well, let's see how that would look.
You guys, we're going to start with 10 pieces of chicken drumsticks. Make sure you wash these very well and trim off all the excess fat. Once that is done, you're going to set your chicken aside. Then we're going to put together the spices. Lemon or other sim 준비 sẽ khoai雞腿. Hạt色的布麻汁嘅雞腿係乾淨並好多熱嘅脂肪能夠剔掉。殺完生後，熱醬之後放去一邊。然後磨定要碎嘅薯條之後油。
What did you think of that? Pete says great. Amon says great. Mind-boggling, says Richard. Time to recruit the CCP. Bruce. Nice, nice. Can it be a 2D humitar? Looks great. Can it be a picture of a person? Some great questions in here, by the way. Can we use the face swap? There's a human synthesis studio type question. Yeah, you guys are coming up with great suggestions on how to make it even better. I really appreciate that. We have our team of people, by the way, Oliver's team and my team combined, who will be answering as best we can some of your questions in this question answer box. Now, the big question, of course, is, well, this is great, but is it really easy to do? Hold on. She's trying to talk over me. There we go. What I really liked about that last one and why I was so excited about that one in particular was because we were taking the voiceover woman who you couldn't see, and then we were bringing her voice in to the humitar who you were able to see. And we were really, really keeping that original voice. I mean, it was exactly her voice, you know, through and through. And I was really excited when I was playing with the software and I came up with that in the demo. In fact, speaking of the demo, the reason why the demo, which is 10 minutes long, it's not long at all, is so important, and I'm going to play it for you, as a matter of fact, in just a sec. The reason why I am really, really excited about the demo is because it demonstrates just how easy it is to use the software. The software is a cinch to use, as I've been saying from the very beginning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm going to give you a little bit better quality here because we preloaded this demo. I did it just about an hour ago. And I'm going to actually play it for you right now. So I'm going to switch over to it. Let's see. I have to find my share. Sharing. And I found it. Okay, guys, get ready. Here comes the demo. Okay, so this is the inside of Synthesys Video Translate. This is actually a recent output that I did just later yesterday. I took Stephen Colbert and I took a video off of YouTube and I put Stephen Colbert into the system, and it took about 15 minutes to generate, 10-15 minutes, and then it came up with this and said, okay, you could download the video or you could generate a new video. So just wanted to point that out, that this is where you'll see the videos. I'm going a little backwards here purposely because I want you to see what you're going to receive and what you're going to do with it first. And then I'll show you how we got that video. So let's just listen in for just a second because I translated him over to Dutch, I believe.
Nu de nominatie van Trump zo goed als zeker is, richt de MAGA-bende zich op de laatst overgebleven.
Okay, so that's obviously Stephen Colbert. You see him, his lips are synced correctly, his voice is correct, and he's speaking an entirely different language, doing his shtick, so to speak, at the Late Show. Now, what you do is you download that video or you generate a new video, or you could actually see recently generated videos on the lower left. So I'm going to just download that video, and then once that's downloaded, then what I'm going to do is generate a new video like that. But before I do the generation of the new video, I want to look at the recently generated videos, because that's another thing that's going to be output later, and that's in the lower left-hand side. And if you try to do a video that isn't compatible with the system, or if the system is undergoing maintenance at the time, you'll see this. It'll say failed to generate project if you run into that. But as you can see, all these generated just fine. This was the Stephen Colbert video from yesterday afternoon. This was one of me. As a matter of fact, I changed my language. This is another one where I believe I'm speaking French in this one right here, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so how did we get here? Let's actually do it. So it's so simple that you actually don't need any instructions. It's that simple. It's just sit down and read what you need to do. So the language requirements are here. It shows you which languages are supported. The video requirements are here, which is going to tell you to do something basically 360 by 360 to 496 by 496. You have to do 5 minutes or less is generally what you're going to be doing, and it has to be 15 seconds or more. It can't be less than 15 seconds. So it's 15 seconds to 5 minutes. And then requirements for better lip syncing are here on the right. You only should use one person. You should avoid extreme rapid head movements and major expressions if you can. You should avoid glasses, although glasses haven't been too much of a problem. Definitely avoid side face, avoid super close-ups, and the face must be in all the frames. All right, so that shows you the requirements right there. So all you have to do is just go to your downloads or whatever it is that you're taking your video from. Like right here, you can see that I'm going to take this video right there and drag it in. So I'm just going to drag that video in like this, and there I am. All right, so what happens from here? It's just too simple. First, I want to decide whether I want to add captions or subtitles. Notice what's going on up here in the upper right, by the way. We detected a face in your video. That means that you don't have to add an actor to the video because you already have a human or avatar in there. All right, so here's the human or avatar. That's me. And we could just click this to add captions. We want to translate the video, obviously. We're going to click on that. But now here's what's really interesting. You don't necessarily have to translate with lip syncing. I could just pick this, translate only the audio. All right? Not necessarily the lip syncing. And then in this case, you saw the Dutch. Remember I said that other one was Dutch that I was playing with? Okay, so now I'll do Spanish. And then in this case, the cloned voice means that it's going to be my voice. All right, so you have a choice between cloned and, since you're getting the special upgraded version of this product, I'm sure, when you pick up the bundle, you will be getting also a choice of some excellent, excellent AI-generated voices. These are like the text-to-speech voices. We have 4 to choose from: Rachel, Dami, Drew, and Clyde. Here's Drew as an example.
Hello. This is a demo of the voice you have selected.
Now, Drew is an excellent one to use if you want to replace the voice of the original speaker. But in this case, I want to clone my own voice. So I just say cloned, okay? It's funny because I actually tried cloning from English to English, and it came out so similar. It wasn't exactly the same, but it came out so similar. I was really surprised how well it cloned my voice. All right, then from there, you just click on Generate. That's all there is to it. So before I click on Generate, I just want to go over this one more time. It was, am I going to use captions or subtitles? Am I going to have an actor, or am I going to want to add an actor to a voiced over video? Just choose between that. Do I want to lip sync, or do I want to just translate the audio only? Do I want to select the language? Of course. So I've selected Spanish. And I'm going to use a cloned voice. That's it. That's all there is to it. Then you click on Generate, And boom, this would take about 10 minutes or so. So the first processing run that you see right here is going to go through very quickly. And then it says 4 minutes, 5 seconds remaining before it is done. All right. And then once it is done, then you're going to download the video by clicking right here, like we showed you before. And if you don't want to do that, you could generate a new video if you don't like the result. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so here's the result. It actually only took 2 minutes, which is faster than usual, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. Keep in mind, I chose not to lip sync during this one because, again, I didn't want it to have to worry about me, jumping around or anything like that. I was just trying it as an experiment where I said no lip syncing. And that's how I ran this experiment. But it should have captions, right? And it should change the language to Spanish. So let's see how it does.
Hola socios de JTV, únanse a nosotros para el revolucionario lanzamiento de Synthesys Video Translate.
All right, before I show you the next feature that I want to highlight, and then we'll be done because it's so easy to use, I just wanted to show you this video right here. I know this one came out really well. Let's take a look at this one.
J'encourage mes élèves à tourner à ce rôle pour elle, pas à femme. Et supporting access version which just are expliquer profondément et explorer ça.
Yeah, that's a really good one. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to head on back. So how do I get back to the beginning and do this all over again? Well, I could just click on Generate New Video, or I could click up here, then the Synthesys symbol, and that'll take me back to the home screen. So let me do Generate New Video, and I'm going to drag and drop something else in here. So what I want to do is I want to pick something that has nothing on it except a voice. So one with just a voice would be something like this, which was a demonstration of how to cook chicken, a certain chicken recipe. So I'm just going to drag that in right there. And now at this point, we could choose to add captions or subtitles. This one I won't. Okay, and the second thing we need to decide is whether or not we want to just translate this, and since there's no actor in there, okay, since there's no avatar or person, no actor, what we could do is just change the language in terms of the audio, or we could do this. We could add an actor to the video, all right? So what we do is we choose the actor here, and then we decide whether we want the actor on the left or the right bottom. And then we choose the language. So I'll do right bottom like that. You see that right there? And we'll do, there it is, Chinese. And we'll use the original voice. The original voice, all right? When I say the original voice, I mean the voice that came with this voiceover. So we're actually installing a cloned version of the voice of the original into our actor, but we've changed it to Chinese, and then we just click Generate. Now, rather than waiting the 10 minutes for that to render, I'll show you what this looks like. Obviously, it's a little different now. I think it's a little bigger, and she's in a circle because we're doing some upgrades to the system as we speak, but it will look very similar to this.
Момчета, ще започнем с 10 пилешки бучета. Уверете се, че сте ги измили много добре и сте изрязали излишната мазнина. След като направите това, оставете пилето на страна. След това ще приготвиме подправките за пилето. Аз просто приготвям обикновена смес от подправки.
Really, really cool, isn't it? I just love the way it can translate into an actor with the original voice over voice and yet lip sync so perfectly. That's the demo that shows you how easy it is to use Synthesys Video Translate. All right, so some of you were able to see that, and I'm sure you enjoyed it. A few of you were not able to see it on a GoToWebinar error. When you load videos into GoToWebinar, you're not always able to see them. So I'm going to switch my screen back. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. In a few minutes, I'm going to replay that demo another way, the way that I was showing you before, which sometimes is a little choppy, but at least you'll be able to see and hear the demo for those of you that did miss it. For the rest of you, what did you think about the ease of use of this product? That's what I'd like to know. Looks simple, so simple, very easy, like all your products. I'd say this is a little easier than some, even though they're all simple, yes. And then we have some other questions I see came in during the actual playback. We're going to send our team in to try to answer those. Very easy, says Peng. Really easy, says Don. How do I sell this? I'll tell you about that in a minute. Click, 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 done, easy. All right. So yeah, the ease of use is really there in a big way, and it hasn't been taking too long to do the video renders or anything like that. So that's all good news in terms of the ease of use, and I'm glad you're able to see that from the demonstration. Now, let's talk about what's important about this, is how to be successful with Synthesys Video Translate. And it all really goes back to what we discussed earlier in the presentation. And if you recall, we talked about if you knew people who could use this. So what I'm going to do now is turn the discussion over to you in the question and answer box, and I'm going to read some of your answers. And I'm going to give my own personal insights. If you were to approach a local business owner, what would you say to that local business owner? Give me a scenario of what you could possibly say and how you can make money from this. Why don't you answer that? I'd like you to give me a little bit of a thought, because I have a really clear thought of what I would do and who I would see. All right, gang, I see your answers are coming in. Yeah, do you want to attract a new demographic? All right, so personally, I'd go right to somebody in an area that has a bilingual patronage, right? Let's say they spoke two different languages. There were two different audiences, Spanish and English, let's say, in a community. And let's say they have a website. Wouldn't it be nice if you can have the person, the owner on the website, make a video for the website? But there's a problem. He would only appeal to half the audience, unless he had Synthesys Video Translate, or rather you doing the work for him and actually allowing him for the first time ever to have two pages, one that's for English, one that's for Spanish, and he does the video both times, even though he only did it once, right? He shoots the video, you take the video, you then translate the video, and then he's speaking in the other language to appeal to the rest of his audience. That's how I would think of a local business owner, and there's so many different ways, but that's just one way that I could conceive of that. Next question. Marketers of goods and services. How would you say that could make money online, or on or offline? I mean, what way would you come up with there? Exactly, wherever it ships, says Philip. So there's different ways that you can market your goods and services, let's say online. If you have your own product, right, or service, like software, like Synthesys Video Translate, how do I reach that audience overseas? How do I reach someone that doesn't speak the language that I speak? I want to sell them a product. How do I do that if I can only do the video in the way that I know? Well, obviously, you could use this and then you could appeal to the other market. Now, a lot of you came here tonight because Karthik sent you. Karthik has a really big, overseas, not English speaking audience. If they were to reach out to another, country like and change it to English, boy, that would be like amazing. It's that sort of thing. You could just reach a whole brand new audience. It's a whole global reach. But what if you're an affiliate marketer? So now you're selling products for other people. Well, you can get a one up on all those other affiliates. You can now do the affiliate marketing in another language, explaining the benefits of the product in another language as an affiliate for the product, and get that out there in another language. All right, this one, I'm insisting that you guys answer this. It's just too easy. Content creators and influencers. How would you suggest folks use this software for that? Well, that's an interesting one. You could offer a translation service for the content creator, right? Translate to a different language for the influencer. So specifically, we'll go over the languages in a moment, by the way, Rolf. Specifically, if you're a content creator, let's say on YouTube, and you're doing a video on how to fix your car. Let's say you're into trucks and Ford F-150s, and you do regular features on how to fix Ford F-150s. Well, that truck is also sold in other countries. And now what you can do is you can actually have that same training video in a different language, right? You don't even have to have somebody necessarily who's on screen. It can be just a generic voiced over video. And if the person is on screen, you could change that video into another language. That's just one thing. I mean, we saw the educator before in one of our videos that we showed as an example. He was teaching, about what was he teaching about? Speaking? Was he talking about speaking? Let me bring him back on here. What were you talking about, man? In English, in English. That's not English. Come on, I can't understand you. I have him in there. I promise I have him in English somewhere. That's pretty funny. I don't remember what he's talking about. But you get my point. You go into YouTube, pick a channel is what you're saying, and then offer the owner the translation service. Exactly. The Rubik's Cube example. Thank you, Roger. Yes, the Rubik's Cube is a perfect example of a YouTube video that could be translated. And it's a perfect example because that can be any language, obviously. And by retaining the original voice, I mean, it makes it even more special to the person that originally puts the video together, because then they know that their voice is being carried through. You know what I mean? All right, the next topic, the next thing that you can do, voice and video talent. Now, this is my area of expertise. I've been doing voiceovers for years now, since, oh, goodness, I've been doing television since 1980, and I started selling my voiceovers and doing it as a thing on TV as an announcer for decades now. So I could comment on this, and I could tell you that I've had this restriction where, for instance, I have been hampered by not being able to speak in another language, where I've lost business because of it. So they liked my voiceover work, but they didn't like that I didn't speak the language that they wanted me to target. Now it could take my same voice quality and it could actually translate it to the other language, which is interesting. Now, I've been passing this around to some friends of mine who speak other languages. Like yesterday, I passed it around to someone who speaks Portuguese. He said it was good, but he detected even in the Spanish Portuguese a slight Brazilian accent, which I thought was interesting. So I will say it's not going to be as perfect when you translate it to another language as it is in the original English, but it's still going to be a heck of a lot better than what we've seen to date, in terms of dubbing. So voice and video talent being able to, do videos or voiceover work and then change it over, like we saw, that Stephen Colbert clip just a moment ago. I mean, that's just amazing. Nonprofit organizations and corporations. Now imagine what you could do with this. You could actually approach a nonprofit organization and say, we could help you to reach out to who? Give me an example of a nonprofit. Right, like a church. I particularly thought of those that help others overseas. Now, a church would want to reach out to many different ethnic groups, many people speaking different languages to bring them into the flock. But I was thinking of when you're making a video to reach out to, the help that you're giving to those in need overseas, what do you do? Let's say you have a shipment that you're making and it's going to someone that speaks a completely different language or a group of people that speak a completely different language, and you need to give them video instructions. You're stuck. So you can go to a nonprofit and say, we know that you, of course, deal with other countries that don't speak English, and we're going to help you with that. That's what struck my mind. Personal and family use. This isn't really as much of a money thing as it is just a social thing. I know that I've had a lot of trouble communicating with my in-laws because they are Chinese. So when my daughter-in-law's mother and I try to communicate, by sending each other videos and that sort of thing, by trying to talk to each other, we're not able to. This would be great for something like that. When I see her, I actually put on Google Translate when I see her in person, but this would be great for something like that. And I'm sure that you can think of a million ways that for personal and family use, it could be used. Now, I see a lot of you have questions on which of the languages are the 30 languages, and I do have a list, and that is coming up in just a moment, because what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about all of the features in Synthesys Video Translate. And then right after I show you all the features that you're going to get, I'm going to talk about all the languages that are included. Okay? So here are the features. You've seen almost all of them, but I really need to break it down for you because it's just so exciting. First is obviously the multilingual voice cloning and translation all at once. That's what you've seen today. Of course, you go from English to 30 languages. I have that list. It's the next slide, the list of what the 30 languages are. But because you're getting the bundle, you could go any language to any language. You could go back to English from another language, or you can go from, let's say, Spanish to Italian, Italian to Chinese. You can actually do that. Now, you also have the in-sync dubbing, which is the lip sync powered by AI. That obviously goes hand in hand here. And you get a commercial license, which allows you to use this for clients. That's how you make money with this. You do have a 5-minute video length, and you have 30 minutes of video per month. You could add select humitars to the videos. You saw that we did that with the woman that we put in, and then she spoke in Chinese as we, of course, were cooking the chicken. And you could add AI voices instead of cloning voices because you're getting the bundle here on this webinar. You could also do the automated subtitles. All right. All that is included in the bundle. Folks that will purchase this when this opens in the next couple of days won't be getting all that. They'll be going through a much more expensive funnel, so to speak. This has all that good stuff in a really low cost package today that you're going to be surprised at the price. It's much less than you think. All right, here are the languages: Bulgarian, Czech, Danish, German, Greek, English, British, English American, Spanish, Estonian, Finnish, French, Hungarian, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Lithuanian, Latvian, Norwegian, Dutch, Polish, Portuguese, Brazilian. Oh, it's Brazilian Portuguese and then European Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Slavic, Slovenian, Swedish, Turkish, Ukrainian, Chinese. It's a simplified, I believe it's Mandarin. Oliver can correct me if I'm wrong about that. Any more questions about the languages? While we have the languages up there. Okay, we see some suggestions. Yes, we'll try to add more. Very good. Whoops. I went a little far there. So here's the story. Those are the languages. We are going to repeat that demo, by the way, in a few minutes if you missed it. The deal in this webinar is the best possible price this software will ever be sold at. All right, we're going to give you a coupon. The coupon is larger than any coupon that we'll be giving away after the webinar ends. If you want to get the best possible price, it's urgent that you do purchase during this webinar today because it will never be lower than this. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, do you want to know how much something like this would cost? Believe it or not, it would cost normally $239, but for everyone who showed up today, including all of our amazing Synthesys family, we're offering you a $60 off coupon called Translate for you to use while we are live. And we are live right now. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to this link to grab this now while you can. It's synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle. It's only $179 for all those things. Now, some of you are saying, oh, I'm so used to understanding there's a funnel and what's included, what's not. All the things you see on the screen are part of the front end product, the first upgrade, the second upgrade. All those things are included. For instance, we also are going to be included, I'm going through my notes here, including the idea of going from any language to any language. That's not something that we would have been offering, all right? That's part of the bundle. You're able to use AI voices. That's part of the bundle. Your ability to use a multitude of cloned voices, so you're not limited to just a couple. You can use as many cloned voices as you want. That's part of the bundle. So you could just go and grab any video, clone anyone's voice. You could go to your father and clone his voice. You could go to your wife and clone her voice on a video. And then you could, of course, change their videos with the cloned voice to another language. All right. And to do this, just go to synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle right now. Now, it's important that you do this during the webinar because the price goes up after the webinar. All right. It's really, really important. We're going to change that coupon significantly. And that's how it is going to go up. Now, there is an upgrade on the inside. I will tell you, a lot of you are asking about the 30 minutes per project and 30 minutes per month. You can wipe that out entirely and everything could go unlimited. You go up to 30 minutes per project instead of 5 minutes. You could go up to unlimited minutes per month, rather than being limited to 30 minutes a month. So you don't have to wait when you use up the 30 minutes to reach the next month. Unlimited minutes. And you'll see that inside you'll have the ability to do that. It costs us a lot of money for the unlimited in terms of our costs. So that's $197 a year, or you can actually get the entire thing so that you only have to pay once at $497. That's in there too. You'll see that. You'll run into that when you go to purchase for those of you that do want that option. We have some special bonuses if you purchase today as well. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. I'm going to skip through the bonuses now because I want to get to our contest and tell you one other thing. And that is coming soon. We are going to be able to give you the ability, this is in a week or two, to actually embed the video on a web page. And this is what it'll look like. So here's a web page from Tesla about their crazy looking Cybertruck. I was able to take a video of Elon Musk speaking in a non-English language and superimpose it onto that website like that, as an example. So you get the embed code, and then you're able to take the embed code and then put it on your website so that you can, of course, speak in any language just like that in the bottom right-hand side of the web page. So we're going to be doing that as well. That's coming soon. That will be enabled in a week or two, as we understand it from Oliver. Oliver Goodwin is, of course, the brains behind the Synthesys line of products. So keep that in mind. Now, once again, this is the deal. Use the code, the coupon code TRANSLATE, and go to synthesis.ai/SVT-bundle.
Todd, can I interrupt here for a second?
Yes.
Those people who are our current customers with Synthesys, please purchase this with the exact same email that you use to purchase any other Synthesys products. That way, everything is coordinated in your back office. You have access to everything in one place, and you don't have two different accounts.
So many of you already know how great the Synthesys line of products is. You're already on the inside. Use the same email address. That way the interface will be smooth. That'll be really, really good. Now, I promised that I would offer those of you, one of you that actually purchases, I promised that we would give you a discount if you get a question correct. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over with my team what the question will be, and I'm going to ask you the question, and I'm going to randomly pick from the answers a lucky winner, and we're going to deduct $50 off your purchase by actually reimbursing you. So we'll need your receipt, of course, of purchase, and we'll need your PayPal email so that we can reimburse you. So I'll be right back in just a second. I'm just going to discuss with my team how we're going to set up this question. Okay, so just for clarification purposes, I just want to mention before we ask the question, I'm going to go backwards in my little slideshow here. I just want to remind you, this was clear to me, but some people were confused about it. The bundle is $179. You get all the stuff that you see on the screen. On top of that, if you want to go unlimited, it's on top of that. You can make all that stuff unlimited by going further. You know, you'll have an option on the inside, a little checkbox to make it unlimited. And then you'll be able to pay the $497 or $197 per year on top of that $179. We had some questions on that. And I was, as I was discussing with my team about what question to ask, they said, please make that clear. So I just wanted to make that clear. Again, go to synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle. All right, here's your question. Get ready. Everybody, let's take a time out and get ready. All right, at the beginning of the webinar, I asked that you do me a favor and let me know a few things. One was if you could hear me. One was if you could tell me some of the things that you know, if you knew somebody in various professions, would you put a 1 in the chat box? One was I asked if you where you were from. There was one other thing that was a little peculiar that I asked you, and you guys answered. What was that thing that I asked that you would put in that was none of what I just mentioned, but it was something else? And I'm going to take from whoever gets this right, I'm going to take randomly the right answers, and I'm going to choose somebody to get a $50 reimbursement on your purchase. And I'm choosing right now. John, you were close. John Jameson. That was not exactly what I asked. I asked specifically what Mike Lucas is the correct answer, picked randomly, and so many of you got correct, and that was, what is the weather at your location? That is correct. Mike, this is what I want you to do. When you purchase, I want you to send your receipt to yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com, and we'll put that in the chat box. Our email address is yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com. Yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com. I just put it in there. And send me your PayPal receipt as well. Once again, congratulations to Mike Lucas for getting that question right. Johnny Murray says, give us another chance. All right, Johnny, I will give you guys another chance. I'll ask another question in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, I promised we'd talk about some of the bonuses that you'll be getting. And this is for purchasing. And that is number one. There's a couple of them that I'm going to highlight here. How to craft AI images correctly and how and where to sell them. This was written by Paul from our team, and he did a great job, a really, really great job. And it shows you really where you can make money with AI images from. Then we have bonus number 2, Short Tracks. Short Tracks is a custom domain link shortener that we use all the time, and it is very, very hot. We also have a done-for-you Fiverr kit, a done-for-you Upwork kit, so you'll be able to sell your services there. We have a high-paying clients acquisition cheat sheet, over 150 free online marketing tools. We have influencer scripts, how to reach out to influencers so they can't say no. And keep in mind, influencers can really use this service of yours that you're providing. We also have a design creator. And this came up again, so I guess I'm going to have to ask another question from earlier in the webinar. I have to think of a question because I didn't say anything too revealing this time. I did talk about myself a little bit. Let's see. What did I say about myself? I don't know. You guys will remember what I said about myself. Answer in the question answer box what I said about myself. I remember I talked about myself. Answer right now what I said about Todd Gross previously in his career, whatever, and I'll recognize if it's correct or not, and I'll pick from that the correct answers. I'll pick randomly another $50 off your purchase winner. All right, Pete Byram. Pete Byram says, Weatherman on TV, you are correct. $50 off your purchase. go to yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com, yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com, and I want you to send your receipt, and I want you to send your PayPal email. There was something very specific that I said about myself that I did on TV that wasn't weather. Let's take a moment here and breathe and give another $50 off. Okay? There was something very specific that I said that I started to do on television. What was that? And I'm not looking for voiceovers. So let's start again. It was not weather. It wasn't voiceovers, but it was similar to voiceovers. And it begins with A. All right? What did I start doing on TV that I felt made myself qualified to talk about voiceover work? I see. We've got some correct answers here. I'm going to just totally randomly pick Grace Zhang. That's Zhang. Announcer was the correct answer. I became an announcer, not just a weatherman on television. And an announcer, you know, I would actually announce like the beginning of shows and things like that, I'd say. And now the ladies are going to do your morning coffee routine or whatever. And that was one of my jobs. So I mentioned that briefly during the presentation. You are correct, Grace. Please send your purchase receipt and, of course, your PayPal email, and we will send you $50 to your PayPal. Just go to yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com for that. And thank you for playing this game with me, everybody. I appreciate it. I really know that it helps when you can win something like that and get such a substantial amount of money off of the purchase. We really need to talk about questions and answers here because there's so many things that you're asking, and we have a whole team of people here today who can help to answer those questions. So I really thank you for attending. You know where to go. It's synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle, but we want you to ask those questions now. And I'm going to bring in Luann and the rest of the team to start answering those questions, not just in the question answer box, but also by voice. So I'm going to mute my microphone for just a moment. The reason I'm going to do so is because I'm losing my voice, and I'm going to have Luann come in here for a moment and answer some questions. Luann, are you there to help?
I am right here. Go rest your voice.
Okay, I'll be back though. Thank you,
Okay,
Johnny.
yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Stephen, several of you have been asking about can you do this with a picture and have the picture talking? Well, it just so happens that that's a talking image, and that is one of the bonuses that we are going to be giving those of you who purchase today, and it will be added to your account inside Synthesys. So you will have that wonderful bonus. They work very, very well. It's really amazing. So that, but I don't think we have an example of it right now. We were so busy putting everything else together that I don't think we ended up with an example of it. But yes, that is a wonderful bonus that we're including. Rodney, no, you will not be able to use this for an audiobook because this is an audio behind a video. So you cannot separate the audio from the video. So that's one of our other products. AI voices, you could use AI voices for an audiobook. And
Hey,
yes, we do have a 30-day guarantee.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Shannon.
Hey, we have some questions about pricing. So the bundle that includes the all the features that you're getting for the 177 once you get in there. well, once you put the coupon code in there, it'll be 177. So you can get that option. And then there's the unlimited option that you can select to upgrade if you want to upgrade to unlimited. You don't have to select the unlimited option for $497. You can purchase the bundle at the $177 once you put the coupon translate in, and you can get it the bundle, and then the usage as far as being able to do 30 minutes per month with everything that you saw for the bundle for the 177. It's not necessary to click the unlimited if you don't want to purchase unlimited.
And a reminder, in just a moment, we're going to show the demo again another way. For those of you that were not able to see the demo, I'm going to repeat it by holding the microphone up to the speaker, and that will help for those of you that couldn't get it when I delivered it directly through GoToWebinar.
Anshu, if you would help Tim Dyer, please. He's got a login issue. Elliot, no, this is Talking Image is not the software we recently sold. No, this is a bonus that we're adding. We've never offered it before. Then the 5-minute, the videos are 5 minutes long. That includes the avatar or a person in the video. The 30 minutes is audio only. Lincoln, the limitations don't change. So it's still 5 minutes or 30 minutes. Andy, we are not lawyers. So if you're if you're working on a legal side, I would ask the lawyer about liability.
All right. Sorry to interrupt, Luann. I am definitely going to show that demo again. And I want to make sure that folks could see it who weren't able to see it before. However, I just realized that the demo I have is on another screen here. So I'm going to just pull it over.
And everyone, if you would please check your audios. We had some people earlier that could not see the demo and it truly is on your end, not
yeah, but no, Luann, I'm playing it a different way now. I'm playing it completely different.
You'll have to, but just, don't, it's not on our end. It's
I think it's also a GoToWebinar issue as well.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
But this time I'm playing it the other way, the way that I was playing the slides earlier.
Okay.
So I want to know from folks in the question answer box, do you see Stephen Colbert, the guy in the suit right now on the screen? You do. Okay, so I'm going to put the microphone to the speaker and play the demo again. It's 10 minutes long, and then don't forget, the link is in the chat box while you're watching. 15 minutes, and then it came up with this and said, okay, you could download the video or you could generate a new video. Okay, so this is the inside of Synthesys Video Translate. This is actually a recent output that I did just later yesterday. I took Stephen Colbert and I took a video off of YouTube and I put Stephen Colbert into the system, and it took about 15 minutes to generate, 10-15 minutes, and then it came up with this and said, okay, you could download the video or you could generate a new video. So just wanted to point that out, that this is where you'll see the videos. I'm going a little backwards here purposely because I want you to see what you're going to receive and what you're going to do with it first. And then I'll show you how we got that video. So let's just listen in for just a second because I translated him over to Dutch, I believe.
Nu de nominatie van Trump zo goed als zeker is, richt de MAGA-bende zich op de laatst overgebleven.
Okay, so that's obviously Stephen Colbert. You see him, his lips are synced correctly, his voice is correct, and he's speaking an entirely different language, doing his shtick, so to speak, at the Late Show. Now, what you do is you download that video, or you generate a new video, or you could actually see recently generated videos on the lower left. So I'm going to just download that video, and then once that's downloaded, then what I'm going to do is generate a new video like that. But before I do the generation of the new video, I want to look at the recently generated videos, because that's another thing that's going to be output later, and that's in the lower left-hand side. And if you try to do a video that isn't compatible with the system, or if the system is undergoing maintenance at the time, you'll see this. It'll say failed to generate project if you run into that. But as you can see, all these generated just fine. This was the Stephen Colbert video from yesterday afternoon. This was one of me. As a matter of fact, I changed my language. This is another one where I believe I'm speaking French in this one right here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so how did we get here? Let's actually do it. So it's so simple that you actually don't need any instructions. It's that simple. It's just sit down and read what you need to do. So the language requirements are here. It shows you which languages are supported. The video requirements are here, which is going to tell you to do something basically 360 by 360 to 496 by 496. You have to do 5 minutes or less is generally what you're going to be doing, and it has to be 15 seconds or more. It can't be less than 15 seconds. So it's 15 seconds to 5 minutes. And then requirements for better lip syncing are here on the right. You only should use one person. You should avoid extreme rapid head movements and major expressions if you can. You should avoid glasses, although glasses haven't been too much of a problem. Definitely avoid side face, avoid super close-ups, and the face must be in all the frames. All right, so that shows you the requirements right there. So all you have to do is just go to your downloads or whatever it is that you're taking your video from. Like right here, you can see that I'm going to take this video right there and drag it in. So I'm just going to drag that video in like this, and there I am. All right, so what happens from here? It's just too simple. First, I want to decide whether I want to add captions or subtitles. Notice what's going on up here in the upper right, by the way. We detected a face in your video. That means that you don't have to add an actor to the video because you already have a human or avatar in there. All right, so here's the human or avatar. That's me. And we could just click this to add captions. We want to translate the video, obviously. We're going to click on that. But now here's what's really interesting. You don't necessarily have to translate with lip syncing. I could just pick this, translate only the audio, all right? Not necessarily the lip syncing. And then in this case, you saw the Dutch. Remember I said that other one was Dutch that I was playing with? Okay, so now I'll do Spanish. And then in this case, the cloned voice means that it's going to be my voice, right? So you have a choice between cloned and, since you're getting the special upgraded version of this product, I'm sure when you pick up the bundle, you will be getting also a choice of some excellent, excellent AI generated voices. These are like the text to speech voices. We have 4 to choose from: Rachel, Dami, Drew, and Clyde. Here's Drew as an example.
Hello. This is a demo of the voice you have selected.
Now, Drew is an excellent one to use if you want to replace the voice of the original speaker. But in this case, I want to clone my own voice. So I just say cloned, okay? It's funny because I actually tried cloning from English to English, and it came out so similar. It wasn't exactly the same, but it came out so similar. I was really surprised how well it cloned my voice. All right, then from there, you just click on generate. That's all there is to it. So before I click on generate, I just want to go over this one more time. It was, am I going to use captions or subtitles? Am I going to have an actor, or am I going to want to add an actor to a voiced over video? Just choose between that. Do I want to lip sync, or do I want to just translate the audio only? Do I want to select the language? Of course. So I've selected Spanish, and I'm going to use a cloned voice. That's it. That's all there is to it. Then you click on generate, and boom, this would take about 10 minutes or so. So the first processing run that you see right here is going to go through very quickly. And then it says 4 minutes, 5 seconds remaining before it is done. All right. And then once it is done, then you're going to download the video by clicking right here, like we showed you before. And if you don't want to do that, you could generate a new video if you don't like the result. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so here's the result. It actually only took 2 minutes, which is faster than usual, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. Keep in mind, I chose not to lip sync during this one because, again, I didn't want it to have to worry about me, jumping around or anything like that. I was just trying it as an experiment where I said no lip syncing. And that's how I ran this experiment. But it should have captions, right? And it should change the language to Spanish. So let's see how it does.
Hola, socios de OTO. Únanse a nosotros para el revolucionario lanzamiento de Synthesys Video Translate.
All right, before I show you the next feature that I want to highlight, and then we'll be done because it's so easy to use, I just wanted to show you this video right here. I know this one came out really well. Let's take a look at this one.
Je encourage mes élèves tournere a soror squirrel ba tarfam. Et supporting access verticalize which just are experience profondément et experience.
Yeah, that's a really good one. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to head on back. So how do I get back to the beginning and do this all over again? Well, I could just click on generate new video, or I could click up here, then the synthesis symbol, and that'll take me back to the home screen. So let me do generate new video, and I'm going to drag and drop something else in here. So what I want to do is I want to pick something that has nothing on it except a voice. So one with just a voice would be something like this, which was a demonstration of how to cook chicken, a certain chicken recipe. So I'm just going to drag that in right there. And now at this point, we could choose to add captions or subtitles. This one I won't. Okay, and the second thing we need to decide is whether or not we want to just translate this, and since there's no actor in there, okay, since there's no avatar or person, no actor, what we could do is just change the language in terms of the audio, or we could do this. We could add an actor to the video, all right? So what we do is we choose the actor here, and then we decide whether we want the actor on the left or the right bottom. And then we choose the language. So I'll do right bottom like that. You see that right there? And we'll do, there it is, Chinese. And we'll use the original voice. The original voice, all right? When I say the original voice, I mean the voice that came with this voiceover. So we're actually installing a cloned version of the voice of the original into our actor, but we've changed it to Chinese, and then we just click generate. Now, rather than waiting the 10 minutes for that to render, I'll show you what this looks like. Obviously, it's a little different now. I think it's a little bigger, and she's in a circle because we're doing some upgrades to the system as we speak, but it will look very similar to this.
Момчета, ще започнем с 10 пилешки бучета. Уверете се, че сте ги измили много добре и сте изрязали излишната мазнина. След като направите това, оставете пилето на страна. След това ще приготвиме подправките за пилето. Аз просто приготвям обикновена смес от подправки.
Really, really cool, isn't it? I just love the way it can translate into an actor with the original voice over voice and yet lip sync so perfectly. That's the demo that shows you how easy it is to use Synthesys Video Translate. All right, so I hope all of you were able to see that. I am going to get our slideshow back on here and remind you of the link because we're only going to spend a few more minutes together. We want to make sure to answer your questions. Again, these are the languages that are included. That's the list right there. And even though we're working on getting more, that's our current list. And because you're getting the bundle today, you will be getting the ability to go from any language to any language. So let's remind you to use that coupon code TRANSLATE. The webinar is about to end, so you need to do it now. You need to use this now, because after the webinar ends, the price changes. The Translate will no longer give you $60 off. And it's $177, not $179. I realized that our math was bad. $60 from $237, $177. It wasn't one. Let me show you how our math went bad. Normally this would cost $237 and you get $60 off. And therefore it would cost now $177. So it's even $2 less than what you're seeing on the screen. Again, coupon code is TRANSLATE. $177 is the price. Synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle. Last couple of questions. Last chance to get in at this amazing price. Go ahead, ask your questions. Luann, anything else that you can answer right now before we wrap up?
If you are having a problem that you need to contact Synthesys about, it's support at synthesys.io. A couple of people are having issues with their purchases. So if you could right there, we can help you out there, okay?
All right, why limit yourself to just the English language when the whole world out there needs to hear you? That's my final thought of the day. Don't limit yourself. Use this product to broaden your reach, to go global with Synthesys Video Translate. I want to thank everybody for coming on here. If you have any further questions that you need to ask us, you could write us at yourgreenscreenguy@gmail.com. We have another webinar at 10 o'clock in the morning. Luann or Shannon, how are folks able to get on that next webinar?
They have the link. They have already registered. By registering for this one here, the same code will be, the same link will be available tomorrow morning for the 10 a.m. Eastern Time webinar, and join us then. You'll get reminders from GoTo that the webinar is about to start.
And we'll try to get a replay if possible, but you won't likely be able to get the same price when you get the replay. We're going to open up, again, all I could say is you really need to get the lowest possible price to sign up right now at synthesys.ai/SVT-bundle, because when we get the replay out, it'll be too late. So I just want to remind you of that. Thanks again, everyone. I so appreciate all of you. Before we totally shut down, I'm going to shut off my mic. We're still going to answer one or two questions via text, and then we're going to completely close out. But you guys were great. You had great suggestions and great answers. And we're so curious about the product and asked great questions about it. And thanks again. I really appreciate the nice comments that you guys also made about me in there. I was reading them. I didn't have time to read them out loud, but that was really nice of you. And I saw every one of them as I was looking when those videos were playing. Thanks again. Bye-bye, everyone.